Hello! I am Aoilaipe, and I like to hop into top tier air arcade matches in War Thunder, and then personally kill the entire enemy team by myself because top tier air arcade is sheer madness. Welcome to my channel! There's no need to bury the lead. Here is a video of a purchase confirmation popping up out of nowhere and the OK button that confirms the purchase spawning directly under my mouse cursor while I was already clicking on other things. I've encountered this glitch twice in the last 3 weeks. I got it on camera the second time, but I lost over 300,000 silver lions to it the first time, and Gaijin refused to reverse the transaction or refund me. I was just stuck with the bill. Gaijin made it pretty clear to me that their policy is no refunds, no exceptions. So if this happens to you, then you're just kinda screwed unless Gaijin decides to change his policies or fix the game. Also, Gaijin declared that train wreck conversation I had with customer support was confidential and said I couldn't share it, but they sent that message, some might call it a threat, in response to a request for comment, like a completely unambiguous request for comment for a YouTube video sent almost 2 weeks after the original conversation ended. I think whoever sent this to me just wasn't thinking. I don't know why they would do that. But to, in general terms, describe the conversation that I can't share the specifics of, customer support basically said this here: crew training requires you to confirm the purchase. We are sorry that you trained the wrong crew, but such operations cannot be cancelled. We also do not provide any compensation in such cases. Please be careful in the future. Best regards, Gaijin. However, customer support also sent me a totally unrelated article on how to use rank 1 reserve biplanes. And my issue is with a rank 8 fighter jet. Personally, I think it's hilarious that War Thunder customer support is better at trolling than War Thunder players. This is a skill issue, so here's a reserve biplane, you noob. Anyways, the background footage for this video will be me single-handedly annihilating an entire team of rank 8 players and scoring dozens of kills without dying. To the realistic mode trolls who will inevitably evade my comments, I can wipe out entire teams and you can't, so nye. If you really think you can do what I do, then put your money where your mouth is and send me a video of you taking down an entire top tier team. Feel free to watch my guides if you need any help. Now back to this glitch. If you look closely, you'll realize that the surprise purchase pop-up here, it wasn't to confirm training a crew to a plane, it was actually confirming the purchase of a whole new crew. That's key to understanding what causes this glitch and how to avoid falling victim to it. Because you can't select an unpurchased crew slot without getting this pop-up. And I don't believe you should be able to get this pop-up without first selecting that crew slot. The Venn diagram is a circle. Just a flat circle. My mouse was nowhere nearby, so I didn't click on it. I did turn my camera on right before the glitch occurred, but the keyboard shortcut to turn my camera on is Control F4, and that shouldn't have done it either, and I can't get the glitch to replicate by pressing those buttons anyways. What all that means is that there is a glitch that can somehow change your crew selection without user input. That's actually a really big problem because it preys on a weak spot in War Thunder's user interface. I am 99% certain I first encountered this glitch about 3 weeks ago while training my F-16C jet to a crew. Changing your crew selection from here to here requires the same inputs as when you're changing it from here to here. I clicked on my level 75 crew, but then just like the time I got the glitch on video, my crew selection somehow moved several places to the right and then trained over my F-16A. There is no warning to prevent this because the pop-up you see here is identical no matter which crew you have selected. So if you want to train a crew but your crew selection is altered for whatever reason, then there is no warning to prevent you from making that incorrect purchase. When this first happened, I was extremely confused because I was certain I clicked on my level 75 crew and only that crew. Somehow this F-16A got selected instead, but I could not think of a single user input I made that could have done that. However, when testing this out, I did find a few ways to change crew selections unintentionally that I didn't know about. For example, if you make a selection, cancel the confirmation, then confirm again, your crew selection will have changed for no goddamn reason, and the game won't tell you that. You can also change the crew selection if you accidentally bump the arrow key, and the game won't tell you that either. So even if this new glitch gets fixed, there are other ways to change your crew selection without intentional user input, and there are basically no safeguards in place to prevent you from losing a huge amount of silver lions if you don't notice your selection has changed. You will simply be out of pocket, and customer support will blame you for ignoring warnings that don't actually exist. Unfortunately, however it happened to me, that crew choice clashed with my lineup, so I had to fork out an extra 310,000 silver lions to immediately retrain the crew. I never even used the crew it was initially and erroneously trained to. I have enough silver lions to do that, but most players wouldn't. Their only option would have been to pay Gaijin real life money to buy back their own silver lions from Gaijin. I initially assumed I must have made an honest misclick, so I reached out to customer support to ask them to reverse it. After all, even if there was no glitch changing crew selections, it would still be insane for Gaijin to just allow zero warning misclicks to bankrupt players, right? Like, they sell silver lions for real money. It's $5 worth, actually. That's just not okay. As it turns out, however, customer support not only denied me a refund, but blamed me for the problem. Because there is a pop-up warning, a warning that does not goddamn exist. If you have the wrong crew selected and don't realize it, there is no warning. That warning is for something completely different. They had incorrect information about their own game and are using that to justify denying refunds. So if you don't want to lose all your silver lions even when the system is working correctly, well then you better not make a misclick or typo whenever you've trained your crew. I mean when you've trimmed your crew. Thanks Gaijin, my point exactly. Anyways, back to the glitch itself. I did some bug testing and it appears to be related to Xbox controllers. If you select a crew slot using an Xbox controller, then this happens. That is essentially identical to the behavior seen here during the glitch. My educated guess is that this glitch involves leaving an Xbox controller plugged into your PC while playing War Thunder with a mouse and keyboard, and then War Thunder crapping out and getting inputs from all three sources at the same time. After all, my mouse snapped to the purchase button like an Xbox, but while I was clearly playing with a mouse and keyboard. And if the game is getting inputs from a source it shouldn't be getting inputs from, then it's possible that normal gameplay inputs might have completely unintended effects, such as changing your crew selection. Personally, I don't usually have an Xbox controller plugged into my PC, but oddly enough, I did have a controller plugged in during those two instances, because I had been playing Starfield right beforehand. I've never had a problem with crew training at all before, but once I started leaving the Xbox controller plugged in, these weird crew shenanigans happened to me back to back. I have experienced several other instances of my Xbox controller just randomly kicking in and crapping out my game's controls for a brief period of time. Like, my keyboard and mouse inputs will still work when that happens, but only sort of. One of these actually reset all of my key bindings, and no, that's not a joke, but thankfully you can back up those by clicking here, which I had done. Combined with this terrible user interface and Gaijin's frankly outrageous policies that will deny refunds for random zero warning misclicks that anyone could make, it created an environment where it is very easy for a relatively simple glitch to come along and make players purchase items without user input or fair warning and just completely screw them over. Like, how could you ever prove this even happened to you? You can't, so you ain't getting your money back. But just remember, my Xbox controller theory is still just a theory. Leaving your Xbox controller unplugged might not be sufficient to prevent this. The only instructions I ever got from Gaijin on how to prevent these unintended purchases from occurring was to, quote, please try to use a different input device and check if the issue persists, unquote. And it's not like you're getting a refund if the issue does persist. I have an idea that I know might sound completely crazy, but, why not just add an undo button? We wouldn't have to worry about any of this if we had an undo button. And as you can see, the players in the background video are kind of going a bit nuts in chat, and yeah, there's a guy accusing me of cheating. This will often happen whenever I vaporize an entire top tier team. Oh, and fun fact, I now have an issue with hackers stealing my gameplay footage and then using it to sell mod menus, because apparently I am better than their hacks. And this is still a small channel. That's a weird problem for a small channel to have. The number 3200 I've written on my jet is my subscriber count, and that's a gimmick that only works if the number is small enough to fit on the jet. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, here are some more you should watch because, well, killing entire top tier teams is really funny. Especially when people go insane and spend weeks hunting me for revenge, which has happened several times.